Couple of things. One, just a reminder, your performance final is due on Friday. Okay, by midnight, you got to get it done. If you are missing any makeup work, like you're missing a mastery check or anything like that, it needs to be completed by September 29th. Remember, your final exams are October 3rd and 4th. Okay, that's right before we go on to fall break. Okay, so that's what's going on there. On this first one, what's happening is we're multiplying. So if I do 5x times x, that would give me 5x squared. If I do 5x times negative 3, that's going to give me negative 15x. If I do 6 times x, that's going to give me 6x. And 6 times negative 3 is going to give me negative 18. I'm going to combine my like terms. And so negative 15 plus 6 is going to give me negative 9x. So this will have an answer of B. Can you try number 2? On the next one, when we multiply this out, this is going to give me 5x squared plus 30x minus 3x minus 18. Okay, when we combine our like terms, it's going to give us D. On the next one, we're going to use the box method. That's what we talked about yesterday. We have 5x minus 2. And then over here on the side, we got x plus 9. We're going to multiply the sides of the box. What's 5x times x? 5x squared. Negative 2 times x. And 5x times 9. Negative 2 times 9. I'm going to combine my diagonal. And so that's going to give me C. I'm telling you right now that the last one is A. Can you get there to that answer? Take a moment. Try. Okay, so on this last one, we've got 5x squared. 5x times negative 9 is negative 45x. And then 2 times x, which is 2x. And 2 times negative 9 is negative 18. When we combine our like terms, we're going to get... Did I mess that up? No, I did not. Negative 45. This should have been positive 45. Oh, JK, this was A. Nobody corrected me, which means that nobody was paying attention. This is C. Okay. This information you will use in geometry, you will use it in Algebra 2, and you will use it in pre-cal and probably whatever else math you take. Okay? So with that being said, this stuff is important. Please pay attention. Okay, this is for the next entire unit. So right here we have this diagram. Okay, what we're trying to do is fill in the boxes. Oh, what's 4x times 3x? 12x squared. Negative 5 times 4x is what? Okay, now we don't have this piece, but we can ask ourselves 3x times what would give us negative 9x? Negative 3. Does negative 3 times negative 5 equal 15? Okay, now we want this in standard form. So standard form is going to take all the stuff inside the boxes. And we're going to combine our like terms. So right here, we've got this negative 20 and negative 9. That's going to give us negative 29x. And then we're going to bring down that 12x squared. So good. The factored form is just what you have on the side. So now on number 2, you're going to ask yourself, what times 2x would give us 4x squared? 2x. And 2x times 3 gives us 6x. 2x times what would give us this? Well, we don't have that number, right? So we're going to look at the next part. What times 3 would give us negative 9? Positive 3. 3 times negative. That's not a negative. That's what I just see. Call me 3. So negative 3. Okay. Negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. Now, look at the diagonal. We always are going to add on that diagonal. Is 6x minus 6x, what does that equal? 0. So we're left with 4x squared minus 9. When we write this out in factored form, we just write out what's on the side. You're asking yourself, what times what would give me 2x squared? So what are factors of 2? 2 and 1. Okay, so 2 and 1. And we're going to do x times x to give us that x squared, right? Okay. Now 2x times what would give us 8x? And 4 times negative 3 would give us, when I add this up on the diagonal, that gives me 5x. So I'm left with 2x squared plus 5x minus 12. And in factored form, what times what would give me 3x squared? What are factors of 3? 3 and 1, right? All right, now, what times 1x would give me 4x? What times 1x would give me 4x? And then what times 3x would give me 15? And you kind of want to use this last box as like a check. So what's 5 times 4? Okay. So standard form, we're going to take everything that's on the inside. And combine our like terms. So this is going to give me 3x squared plus 19x plus 20. Factored form is what we found on the side. Okay. Can you try the next one? So what is x times x? X squared. Okay, now we need this diagonal right here to add up to equal negative 3, right? So what are factors of negative 10? Negative 5 and 2. X plus 2, or I'm sorry, x times 2 is what? Negative 5 times x is, when I add this together, what do I get? So I got x plus 2 and x minus 5. On number 6, we put this first term in the first box and the last term in the last box. This diagonal has to equal 4x. So my question to you, what times what would give me 3x squared? What are factors of? Okay, 3x and x, right? Okay, now we have to equal 4x. So we're trying to do factors of 1. What are factors of 1? Fantastic. So x times 1 is what? 1x. 3x times 1 is? Okay. It's 3x plus 1x equal 4x. Yes, so we did it correctly. And here's our factored form. So what times what would give me x squared? And then I need this to add up to equal 9. So what are factors of 20? 5 and 4. So 4 times x would give me 4x. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 4 gives me 20. I'm going to take all this junk, add it together. That will give me the standard form. And then factored form is just the numbers that are on top and on the side. All right, on number 8, it's a little tricky. So this first term goes in the first box. Last term goes in this last box. Okay. What are factors of 2? 2 and 1. So we already know that this is going to be a 1 and a 2 over there. What are factors of 6x squared? 2x and 3x, right? So let's try 2x here and 3x here. What is 3x times 1? 3x. 2x times 2? Does that diagonal add up to equal 7x? Yes. Then we did it correctly. So our factored form is 3x plus 2 times 2x plus 1. I literally just did all your problems for you. Why? So, Tamika is trying to factor this out. How can you tell that Tamika's work is incorrect?
It's incorrect because the 4x and plus and x is not 9x.
Okay, so 14x plus x is not equal to 9x. The 9x comes from that b term, right? Okay. On the next one, it says list pairs of constants that she could try in order to complete the outside of the diagram. So looking at what C is, what are factors of negative 12? One and 12, 2 and 6, and 3 and 4. Do you try the numbers negative 2 and 6? How can you tell it's incorrect?
Because 2 and 6 don't equal 23.
Okay. So negative 12x plus 2x doesn't equal, I think it's 23x is what she's solving for. Okay. Rewrite this in factored form. So this first term is going to go in the first box. Last term is going to go in that last box. And you need this diagonal to add up to equal 23. Okay. So what times what would give me 2x squared? Okay, 12 and negative 1. So let's say that we have 12 here and negative 1 here. What's 2x times 12? 24x. And then what's negative 1 times x? If I add 24 plus negative 1, is that going to give me 23? Okay. So our factored form is x plus 12 times 2x minus 1. So the first term is going to go in that first box, and the last term is going to go in the last box. This diagonal is going to add together to get you 3x. Wow. So what times what would give me x squared? Okay. And then what are factors of negative 28 that add together to get you 3x? So 7 and negative 4. This gives me x minus 4 times x plus 7. It's okay if you wrote it the other way. Your first term inside the box, last term goes in last box. And then you want to think, what times what would give me 5x squared? All right, so 5x and 1x. Now, we need two things that multiply to get us negative 28, but add together to get us negative 31. So what are factors of negative 28? Okay, so negative 7 and 4. Okay, so looking at this, ooh, I just wish. So looking at this, 5x times negative 7 is negative 35x. And then 4 times x is 4x. If I add this diagonal, do I get that 31? Yes. So these factors are going to be 5x plus 4 and x minus 7. Some of these you're going to have to like kind of test them and then decide whether or not it worked.